Okay, everybody, welcome to our webinar, What to Expect at Migration 2019. We'll go ahead and get started now. My name is Josh Arnagle. I'm the VP of Marketing for Redbird Flight Simulations. I also have Ethan Willinger on the webinar as well, and he's going to cover some of the more logistical functions and logistics items later on. And Ethan is responsible for planning all the day-to-day logistics and operational stuff at migration. And he's the person you can thank when you have a good conference. All right, so let's cover actually a quick housekeeping note. In the handout section on your GoToWebinar app or UI, there is the Migration 2019 agenda. This is the first published version of it. It may change a little bit. Right now, it's just the main overview agenda. We'll be publishing the breakout session agenda and then in the next week or two as well. If you have any questions, feel free to type those in. We'll try to answer them as we go along. We'll have lots of time for questions in here, and you can feel free to ask anything. And if we don't cover it during the webinar itself, we'll reach out to you afterwards and send you what you need. So as far as what we're going to do today in this webinar, we're going to go through kind of the content, the main session and breakout speakers. We'll look at the agenda, and then Ethan will cover some of the more sort of rubber meets the road points around the venue, travel, and any frequently asked questions. There'll be plenty of time, like I said, along the way for your questions if you have any. So feel free to type those in and we'll get to them. Okay, so on the main stage, we have several keynote speakers. First, I'd like to point out that Wings Over the Rockies Air and Space Museum is hosting us, and we're very, very grateful for that. And John Barry, the CEO and president of Wings Over the Rockies, will be our official host and will provide some welcome remarks for us. And after that, we'll have Roger Sharp on the evening of, let's see, the Tuesday, the evening of October 16th, or Tuesday, October 15th, excuse me. We'll have John Barry, and then Roger Sharp will give a talk. And if any of you have been at migration, you'll know that Roger's can be quite the interesting talk. So we're looking forward to hearing what he says. On Wednesday, the 16th, we'll have William Amafo, the VP of Business Aviation and General Aviation from Boeing, talk, and he's going to be covering kind of Boeing's commitment and where they see general aviation and business aviation going. Obviously Boeing owns Jeppesen, and Jeppesen is located on the field there at Centennial, and they have a strong commitment to GA and business aviation, and it should be very interesting. William's a great guy, and we're really looking forward to hearing him talk. In the afternoon on Wednesday the 16th, we'll also have Erica Armstrong, who's kind of a well-known aviation personality. She's going to give a really interesting talk about kind of the pilot's brain and how pilots process information, how they handle emergencies, why some people handle emergencies better than others. We're looking forward to that as well. And then on Thursday, our keynote address on Thursday will be from Kirk Lippold, who was the commanding officer of the USS Cole when it was attacked in Yemen. He also happens to be one of my former students. I trained him for his private pilot's license. And he has a great aviation background, as well as his experience as a naval officer, and as his experience on the Cole gives him a really unique perspective around leadership and preparing for and handling unexpected situations. And I think he's going to be talking really around how those skill sets translates to aviation and how aviation can help build those skill sets in your students. So should be good as well. This year, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to have, in general, one keynote speaker followed by a panel or a debate format on the morning sessions. So on Wednesday the 16th, we're going to have, after William talks, we'll have the media debate, calling it the Rumble in the Rockies, where we'll have Dave Hirschman and Paul Bergarelli debate counterpoint to the two sides of, we have identified about 8 topics. We'll probably narrow it down to 5 or 6 where they have a disagreement around general aviation. The one I'm most looking forward to is we have a question about where do you see the future of aviation? Is it general aviation? Is it growing? Is it contracting? And I know Dave and Paul disagree on that, so that should be very interesting as well. On Thursday the 17th, we'll have an innovation panel with George Bai, who's the founder of Bai Aerospace, which is making an electric aircraft. They're also based there on the fields at Centennial. And then we'll have Greg from Joby. Greg was actually at Gamma and headed their regulatory affairs stuff, but now he's moved on to Joby, and Joby is a autonomous VTOL aircraft manufacturer, and we'll also be adding a few more people to this, and we're going to really be talking about where the sort of hardware and software side of aircraft is going over the next 20 to 50 years. It should be very interesting, and it'll be interesting. We'll see where they say it's going to go. There are obviously some big challenges facing that segment, and Greg especially has got a lot of issues dealing with regulatory concerns, and so it should be a good talk. During the day, if you've attended migration, you'll know this. We also have several breakout sessions that go on during the day. We have several people from AO. We have two people from AOPA that'll be giving talks about their current programs. George Bai will also be talking in a breakout session as well as the innovation panel. The breakout session will focus more specifically on the Sunflyer and the electric aircraft that they're building at Bai Aerospace. We're going to have representatives from several of our partners and kind of interesting service providers to the aviation industry, including Cloud Ahoy and Flight Schedule Pro, ForeFlight. We'll have a few customers of ours that are doing unique things or interesting things that'll be giving a talk, including Dan Weiss from Flyrite and Eric Crump from Polk State. They're doing interesting and different things with their simulators and their programming, and we should hope to learn from them. Patrick Romano from the Recreational Aviation Foundation is going to speak as well about teaching your customers and students to fly for fun as well as for profession, and opening up the options that people have available to them once they get their pilot's license. And the folks from EAA Proficiency 365, this is the team that builds the Pilot Proficiency Center at Oshkosh every year. They're launching a new program, you may have heard of it, that's the idea is to take the Pilot Proficiency Center that's run 1 week a year at AirVenture and expand it across the country in flight schools all around the country, and be able to offer that same type of training every day. And they're looking for schools and instructors, and they're going to be talking about their programming and what they have planned. Then we'll have a few people from Redbird, myself included, that'll give presentations about various Redbird things, product updates, best practices, and Jerry will give a talk that should be very interesting around where we see the future of our development going. So if there are any questions, this would be a good time to type them in around the content. Otherwise, I'm going to hand it over to Ethan, and he's going to talk. Oh, excuse me, I take that back. I'm going to go through the agenda first. Okay, so Tuesday, the first day of the conference, is the 15th. We'll have registration will be open from noon till 5 p.m. Probably actually it'll be open until 7:15, but please try to get there before 5 if you can. Get your name badge and all your stuff in order. We'll have a reception in the main hangar that will have food as well as drinks. It'll go for about an hour, and then that evening we'll have John Barry give us some welcome remarks, and then Roger will get up and do his talk, which, like I said, should be quite interesting. On Wednesday the 16th, this is the kind of the main meat and potatoes day of the conference. We'll start bright and early at 7:30 to 8 with a breakfast that'll be provided, and then we'll do our first morning session, which will include William from Boeing, and then the media debate between Dave and Paul. We'll have a breakout session and then lunch. Again, lunch will be provided. And then from 12:30 to 1, we'll do our migration challenge, which, as if you've been to migration before, you have probably seen or participated in this. We come up with creative things for people to do in an attempt to get you to think differently and meet new people and network together in a creative way. And so that'll run from 12:30 to 1:30 on Wednesday. Then we'll do, Erica is going to talk after the migration challenge on the main stage. We'll do 3 more breakout sessions that afternoon, followed by a reception and then a dinner. And during dinner, after dinner, we'll have the AOPA Flight Training Experience Awards will be presented, and then we'll have a little bit of fun with the Migration Challenge Awards following that. We should be out of there by 8:15, 8:30 on Wednesday. On Thursday, we'll have a half day, give you time to travel home in the afternoon. We do hope that you will make it for all the days, including Thursday. We'll have Kirk will talk, which, like I said, should be very good. He's an engaging speaker, and he's got a great story to tell. And then we'll have the Aviation Innovation Panel, which, like I said, will be interesting. And then 2 breakout sessions following that, and that'll be the end of the conference. You should have time to make it to either fly out or to make it to the airport to get home that evening. Okay, so unless there are any questions, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Ethan now to talk about the venue.
All right, thanks, Josh. Yeah, so the venue this year is fantastic. We're really looking forward to having you guys out there and checking it out. And I know that the folks at Wings are really excited too. One important note about the venue, make sure you are at the correct facility. Wings, if you're not familiar with everything that they're doing, they're expanding rapidly throughout Denver. And they have the Air and Space Museum that's kind of more in Denver proper. But the Migration 2019 is taking place at the Exploration of Flight facility. It's their newest facility out at Centennial Airport. And so when you are getting Ubers or getting lifts or you're plugging things into Google Maps, I would type in Exploration of Flight first, as you see here. Since the Air and Space Museum is the older facility, if you type in Wings Over the Rockies, it's probably going to direct you there. So just make sure you're going to the Exploration of Flight facility. In terms of flying in to migration, if you're flying commercial, you're going to get routed probably through Denver International. That's going to be probably about a 30-40 minute drive to the venue, depending on traffic. But if you are flying GA, you can go straight into Centennial Airport, where the venue is located there on the south side of the airport. Overnight parking will be available at the venue. The folks at Wings right now are putting together a sign-up sheet that's just going to be kind of a first come, first serve thing for their tie-down space. And once I get that from them, should be here in the next week or so, I will distribute that. That'll only go to the people who have registered for migration. So if you're thinking about coming and flying in, I'd go ahead and do that so that you get that information and have an opportunity to reserve your space there. They should have pretty competitive rates with the FBOs at the airfield. But there are a number of FBOs at the airport. On the south side, nearest the venue, you have Signature and Modern Aviation. But then on the north side of the airport, again, not too far from the venue though, is Denver Jet Center and TAC Air. So we also have arranged some group rates at some hotels near the venue. They're all within about 5 miles or so, some of them a little bit closer. Hopefully, if you've registered, you've had an opportunity to go ahead and secure your reservations at these properties, because now space is running fairly low. If you still need to reserve, probably your best bet is those 2 Hyatt properties. You have until, space permitting, you have until the beginning of October to go ahead and make your reservations. There is room still at the Courtyard Marriott Denver South Park Meadows. However, I do know that some of the nights are not available now. The other ones listed here, the Courtyard Denver Tech Center is, I think the cutoff date is already passed, but I was able to get in there and still go through the reservation process. So you might be able to still do that if you go to the website migration.redbirdflight.com, and you'll see that listed. And even some of these other ones where the group blocks may be full, I would go ahead and give them a call if you're interested in any of those properties, and just tell them you're coming for Redbird Migration or the Redbird Conference, and they might still honor the rate. It's just kind of at their discretion at this point. The ones there as well, they do have complimentary shuttles to Centennial. The Courtyard, South Park Meadows, that's a dedicated shuttle that just goes to and from Centennial. You just need to request it. At the Hyatt Place and the Hyatt House, they have a shuttle that goes within 5 miles of their properties. And I think that they're like 4.9 and 4.8 miles respectively. So you should be able to utilize their shuttle to do that. So unless there's any questions, we'll go ahead and move on to some of the FAQs that we get. First and foremost, registration cost. There isn't a cost. It is a free event, so it's free to register. Can you bring a guest? Yes, absolutely you can. If you go to the registration page, it'll prompt you to type in your guest name and all that. The only thing we ask, that'll allow them to come to the social events, the receptions on Tuesday and Wednesday night. But if they are planning on attending any of the sessions and any of those things, they should just go ahead and register for the event as an attendee. That way that we can make sure that we're planned for all the meals and that we've planned to have them in the breakout rooms and all of that. Are the meals and receptions free? Yes, absolutely they are. As Josh alluded to, they are provided and free. And can I watch the event if I'm not able to attend? Yes, that is the plan. We are taking some steps, hopefully, so that we will be able to live stream the main sessions. But if not, we're definitely planning on having those recorded so we can distribute that content after the event. As well as in the breakout rooms, we're not planning on live streaming those, but we are planning to record and distribute that content later. So a few helpful links. The migration homepage, that's the best place to go for all things migration. If you want to look up some more information about the speaker, look at their bios, you can go there, as well as all the hotel information. If you want to check to make sure you are going to the right facility, we have a map and all of that on the website as well. The migration registration page, that's just the direct link. If you know you want to register or you need to add somebody else to your registration or anything like that, you can go there. The migration email inbox, that's migration@redbirdflight.com. If you have any questions, go ahead and send us an email. That's going to go direct to my inbox as well, so you'll be talking directly to me. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to help. And then lastly, the Centennial Airport page. If you are flying in, great bit of information there about the different aircraft procedures, all the FBOs, the fees, and all of that. But even if you're flying commercial and you just want more information about some of the different organizations that are on the airfield there and at the airport, that's a great place to go. They have a nice directory there. If you want to do a bit of like mountain flying while you're in Denver, you can see all the different flight schools there. We have a number of customers that are at the airport, so that's a great resource there. So I don't know, Josh, if we have any questions, but I think that'll do it on my end. Again, Redbird Migration is October 15th through 17th at Wings Over the Rockies at Centennial, and there's the website if you want to go look at any information there. Just I'll wait a second for questions, but if not, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here.
Yeah, I think that's all we have, unless y'all have anything. Do we have any questions? If you do have any questions, first place to look, migration.redbirdflight.com, and second place is to send us an email at migration@redbirdflight.com. I'm looking forward to seeing y'all on the 15th. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.